When you wish upon Kirblog, we'll watch Princess and the Frog. When you wish upon Kirblog, we'll make you spew.
Dum dum.
Hi, welcome back, everybody. I'm with Mike Rocco again.
Hi, everybody.
For the first time in like 7 months, I think.
Whenever we recorded the Peanuts one, so it's probably at least
like November, I think.
Yeah, about 9 months ago.
It's been an age and a half. Yeah, thanks. Hi. We're gonna talk about Disney shit.
Holy mackerel! That's right up my alley.
It is, unfortunately. So I wrote you.
Unfortunately.
Well, no, unfortunately, because you have to sit here with me for the next however the fuck long this goes for.
I'm sure it won't be too long.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, I can go on a tangent about milk call smears.
That's true. I feel bad because I apologize to whoever originally inspired this, because I think somebody asked me to do this topic in a comment on like this Zootopia Kirblog that I did, and I cannot remember. I couldn't find it, so I apologize. But you know who you are. But I wanted to do. I think I'd even been sitting on this. Like, no, you know what? Actually, maybe it wasn't the Zootopia one. I feel like I've been sitting on this one for a while, and I wanted to wait to be like, hey, Rocco, we should do this one together because you know like everything about Disney in existence. And well, actually, like we did with the Peanuts one, why don't we start with? I actually want to hear your whole like, because those of you who don't know, Mike is a massive Disney aficionado in terms of like.
Aficionado is professional for nerd.
Well, I mean, no, but like for real, like because when I met you in like even first year of college, like you spoke a language of Disney that I had never heard before, and like how much.
I think the first things I ever told you was, "Hi, I'm Mike. Milk call smears." Ward Kimball. Fantasia's my favorite.
And I was like, "We're gonna be best friends," and then he moved out of our suite, and we were sad.
And I never went back.
And you were better off for that. By the way, also Maya. Is joining us today.
She's twice the size that she was when you last recorded.
She was, and not nearly as noisy. She hasn't got a single time.
Oh, just wait.
Oh, boy.
Just wait.
She's trying to cry for your attention, hopefully.
She's going to be like, she's checking out your shoes.
Oh, dude. Those are cool shoes. Thanks, Maya. So
this guy, Davis Edges.
So I wanted to do a top 5 favorite Disney movies. Kirblog with Mike, but you've known and been studying like Disney trivia and all this shit for a really long time, and I want to know like my history, because I always start off these like this, but my history of Disney is literally the movies have been part of my life since literally I was born. We had like every single VHS of every classic Disney movie
I was the same way.
In our collection, and I watched them all and loved them all as a kid. So I grew up like any stereotypical American kid that is surrounded by Disney's, corporate takeover of America.
I've been called a capitalist scum because I like Disney so much.
Really?
A couple people.
Why?
Because I love Disney, and Disney's like the face of American capitalism.
just Mickey's like the 3 circles of I fucking own you.
Mickey's silhouette is pretty much to at least to the people I've had arguments with, like the equivalent of like the American dollar sign to them,
or a satanic like trigram or something.
Yeah.
Before we dip into off the territory that we haven't already, what was it about? I mean, specifically the Disney animated features that you were like so fixated.
Well, the thing is, I think both of us grew up at a time. We grew up during the second golden age of animation, mm-hmm. So like we were just. Even though we were bombarded with 15 million different things mm-hmm. between Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, The Simpsons, and everything that's going on mm-hmm. Fox, but Disney was still like the most prominent because they would show their stuff everywhere. Like you couldn't turn your head without seeing something, Mickey Mouse or Winnie the Pooh. So it's like I was just surrounded. I had all the movies on VHS as a kid. My mom just made sure, even when I was a baby, to go out and buy the VHSs so I had something to watch when mm-hmm. I wasn't. When she's like, I can't pay attention to you. Let Uncle Walt provide you with parental guidance for a while.
I just imagine like Disney coming out like an Uncle Grandpa type character of what hey there, Michael, I'm going to show you this movie about the Little Mermaid. You're like, oh boy, I'm the wall. I can't wait to fucking have my life changed.
And then he looks at it and goes, what the hell is this shit? What's this? What is it?
I didn't
Jamaican
make this.
crab?
Oh my god.
I would never have said that. I would have had Sterling Holloway do another fucking voice. Is he still alive? Oh wait, he's been dead for 40 years? God damn it.
If Little Mermaid was made during Walt's time...
They planned it during Walt's time, but he was like, this story sucks.
Oh, well, doesn't that say a lot? And Sterling Holloway would have been Sebastian. Probably.
Oh my god. Go up to the surface. Don't do that. Mama.
But I mean, like, because, okay, by the time that I met you, you had, like, quick times of, like...
I learned how to rip DVDs and convert them into QuickTime files so I can study them frame by frame in QuickTime.
Like, what was it about those movies that was, like, so, like, what? Because I basically got you into animation.
These are beautiful. Because, I mean, like, I had all the Disney cartoons on VHS, and then I had the movies, and then I started getting into animation because of them. And then I studied up, and then I realized, oh, if I want to study the animation, because try to pause a VHS, you see mostly static. And I'm like,
and
oh
like
my
frames
God.
bleeding into each
Right.
other.
And even DVDs, it was kind of like a pain, depending on what kind of DVD player you had. You press the next button, it would just skip to the next chapter. You go, fuck, no, I didn't want that. But then when I went to college, I kind of realized, oh my God, I can rip QuickTimes and I can do all this stuff, and I can steal movies from the library and rip them and then give them back.
Sorry, SVA.
Oh no, I'm not sorry. They took so much money out of my pockets.
That's true. Well,
I think it's the least they can do. Is
welcome to fucking college,
Yeah.
kids.
Don't go to college.
Go to college, kids. Make that determination for yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, so I studied, and that's how I kind of, it's weird, animation I was self-taught because I watched those movies and I studied the movement and the spacing and the timing.
Well, I feel like a lot of people, like, within our age range, I mean, obviously we went to school and learned a lot more, but I think, like, we were all kind of, like, you know, interested in just the process of it, and then by that point when Flash became a lot bigger of a thing, it's like, oh, I can just pick this up and do this. I don't need a fucking, like, light box or whatever.
Flash isn't, like, I mean, tool-wise, it's not the best. But
No,
I think
it never has been.
But for anybody who wants to learn animation and can't afford a camera and a
light box,
a light box, and all that stuff, to be able to, and as long as you have a tablet and a computer that you can easily pirate it, because that's how most people got Flash, by pirating it. Anybody can animate, so it's kind of like a resurgence with animation.
It's kind of funny too, because I think actually when we met in first year. Hey Maya, she's playing on the floor.
Yeah, she better not.
She better not ever
can't
come
have
near
fun.
us. I feel like you might have even kind of gotten me back into Disney stuff, because I think that by that time, like 2007 and 8, that was the period of, like, I guess, like Brother Bear and like Home on the Range and some of that stuff.
Yeah, that was a little earlier. That was a couple of years before we met.
Okay.
Like in 2003.
What was going on with Disney in terms of their movies at that time?
Well, I mean, there was just weird management, and they were like, "Well, we gotta, stop. Why you gotta be annoying?" I'm so sorry.
That's what I live for, guys.
Maya, I'm gonna lock you out of this room. That's what I'm gonna do.
I have to actually draw her in the preview image.
I'm gonna, not make her. She's being. Do you know why? There's a battery. You see that? There's a battery that you shouldn't be having. Get back here.
Oh my God.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
It's like a fucking Disney cartoon right now.
Maya out. What? She's gonna be out. Maya out.
That was me though, not her.
Maya out. Oh.
I'm not cutting any of this sleeper. She's fine.
Oh God damn it.
I have to worry about her chewing on my batteries.
Yeah. She's chewing on cords because she's gonna ruin all my cords.
So Mike's least favorite movie that is not on the top 5 list is The Aristocats.
Actually, no.
No?
No.
Absolute least favorite Disney movie?
Oh, no. I'm far from it.
No.
I actually enjoy Aristocats in comparison.
I like Aristocats. It's not on my list, so spoiler. But yeah, either way, well, I mean, in that period beforehand with some of those movies, like, yeah, I remember, like, there was just that kind of time where, like, I wasn't that big into Disney stuff. Now I love Disney movies, like, all over again. Like, a lot of their recent stuff.
Disney's now at a point where, like, I mean, look at the movies they're making the last couple of years. They're, like, now trumping. It's, like, the first time since a long time since they've trumped Pixar.
Yeah.
Pixar's movies have been doing, like...
That's true, yeah.
What are you doing?
Pixar has always... Well, I mean, like, no, they've still been doing... I mean, Inside Out, I thought was amazing.
Yeah, Inside Out's okay. Good Dinosaur, I mean, yeesh. But,
I still haven't seen Good Dinosaur, so I can't judge.
Oh, well, then go see it, and then you'll know why the title is a misnomer.
But either way, the point being, Pixar aside, because they were generally pretty consistently good, throughout that era. But, like, the main, Disney animation movies, like, I wasn't super interested in them. But then, yeah, I think because you had so many of them on hand.
We watched a bunch of
Yeah,
them.
like because actually I felt bad because I missed out. I think it was in first year in the first dorm we were at. You guys were watching Fantasia in the basement. I think I had work to do or something that night and I wasn't able to join. I was like, oh, I want to actually watch Fantasia and actually like give a shit about it now that I understand animation, how like much of a masterpiece this is.
2 minutes in, you fell asleep.
I didn't know. No,
No,
when
just
I was
kidding.
when I was a kid, I did.
Most
Yes.
people did. I was just kidding. I was just making jokes.
But yeah, so basically we put together a top 5, and I caught on the glimpse of your screen before you hit it for me that you had some runner-ups. I had some honorable.
I had runner-ups, but I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, I'll just.
Well, we'll save that for
I
when
won't
we get
say.
to the
I
end.
won't say why I like them, but I'll just list them and be like, you can just assume what I like and what I don't like.
So let's pull up our lists, and I want to do 3, 2, 1, and then name it. Of the, we're gonna go with our number 5.
But these are these in any particular order?
Did you rank them from?
I just wrote them because I can't choose favorites.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Well, then you know what? Actually, then that'll be interesting. Do you like these 5 equally? Would you say?
I like them all for different reasons, but I all
Okay.
like them for different.
Okay, totally fair. So then pick one at random, and I'm gonna go with my number 5, and we'll say it. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Sword in the
Tangled.
Stone. Wow, that was a fucking.
Whoa!
I would admit, Tangled is pretty good. I will say all my movies are like before 1970.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that is interesting because I think most of mine are like
after.
the more recent ones.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Sword in the Stone because I think actually that was one.
I
that
did
we
a whole. Me and
we did
Andrew
watch that together.
We did watch it together,
college.
and then me and Andrew did a whole Animated Anarchy episode about Sword in the Stone.
Animated Anarchy. Check out the podcast. I'll link to it.
We'll do it more soon.
Yeah, please.
I mean, I don't know how many of your listeners also listen to it.
If you haven't heard it yet, Mike and Andrew Dickman, another animated friend of ours, they review lots of classic, mostly bad, but also not always.
No, we mix it up. And
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I swear to God, Maya. I fuck up my computer.
Yeah, I swear if she
She's blending in with all the black stuff. This is. I'm not cutting any of this, by the way.
What's all that black stuff?
Why Sword in the Stone?
I don't know. For me, it's not a great movie. Like if I had to say like,
And yet it's on my top 5 anyway.
but it's
Off to a great start.
you're out of here, gone.
And Maya has left the building or the room.
That's what she gets for chewing on my HDMI cable. She did that. She one time she chewed through a $60 HDMI cable.
It's a living. We watched Sword in the Stone like relatively recently.
Yeah, we watched it over, and then I remember we were with Mike and Andrew and you, and then
And Steve.
right when we were finishing up, Steve walked in. He goes,
Oh,
"Oh,
right.
damn it! I want to watch that movie." You guys suck.
That's right. And see, it's weird because like it isn't one of those Disney movies you think of first, but like when it's on, it's like, oh yeah, I remember liking this.
And the thing about me with Sword in the Stone is that not so much like it's not a great movie. It's actually very it's flawed in many ways.
It's very weird. It's just like a bunch of shit happening in sequence.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean it's a lot like when that's Disney's go-to if they don't have like a consistent story. It's like, well, why don't we just do a bunch of little interesting little adventures with these characters, the mini adventures kind of thing.
while Wart's voice changes like 7 times.
Because they had like 3 different actors playing them. Actually, technically, there's 4 voices in the movie because one kid went through puberty. Yeah,
Puberty.
So it's puberty. One kid went through puberty, so there's 2 voices that are the same kid. And then there's like his younger brother, and then there was like another random person.
Okay. A random.
A random child. Hey, you want to be in a Disney movie?
Oh,
yeah.
I like macaroni and cheese.
But the thing I like about the movie is just it's the art style is charming.
Yes.
I like the Xerox era of Disney where you could see every pencil line.
Yeah.
And for me, it's just more about the chemistry between Merlin, Archimedes, and Wart. And Merlin's one of my favorite Disney characters.
Oh yeah,
Because I relate to him because I'm old. I'm the oldest.
You're younger than me.
I know I'm younger than you, but I feel like an 85-year-old.
Merlin is like a pretty kind of like I don't know. Is he an underutilized character? Because I feel like he's one of those that like they'll just have him pop up in other stuff that has nothing to do with Sword in the Stone. Just
because he's whenever they don't want to use the fairy godmother, they'll use like we need a male fairy godmother. Oh,
or sometimes don't they use both of them in some cases?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's funny. I'm playing a game on my iPad right now called Disney Magic Kingdoms. which is like it's kind of like Sim City, but you build your own Disney. You
Oh,
rebuild
that's
Disneyland.
cool. Okay.
It's fun. It's a fun app game, and it Merlin is like the center of it,
Oh, okay.
and then you have to be like and he barely talks, and then he's like, you got to recruit Mickey and Goofy and all those beloved other children's characters.
Is that Jeff Bennett?
Jeff Bennett,
Oh,
yeah, because Jeff Bennett's like, and then they use them in the parks. There's like a game that you can play in the parks with cards.
Oh.
In Disney World, you go and you like, here, take your magic card and fight Hades. You know, like you can find it. It's all on YouTube. I think it's called like Magic of the Kingdoms or something like that. But it's really interesting because it's real. They animated these things, and you go to certain windows in Disney World, and Merlin will be like, "Oh, glad I found you here in Adventureland. Look, Ursula's doing weird shit again. Talk to Ariel.
Weird shit again.
Talk to Ariel. She'll know what to do."
And Ariel's just like, I don't want to talk to you.
Oh, you're old.
Ew, gross.
Ew, gross. Beard. Why is your tail on your face?
The most standout thing that I remember about, and for some reason it was the one thing about that movie that I never forgot, and maybe it was the signification that I was eventually going to be a furry when I grew up, was the scene where he gets turned into the squirrel and he meets the squirrel chick and she's all like up in his grill and stuff. And I think that was the first time I ever witnessed like PDA in anything before. Because like I think when I saw it in like other Disney movies at the time, it like just like either didn't occur to me, or maybe I hadn't even seen like Little Mermaid or any of this stuff at that time. Because we had all of the old school ones on VHS, it's just like taped from different places. We probably stole them from like Blockbuster, like taped over and made copies or whatever. But I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, but cute squirrel liked him. I don't understand these feelings because I'm like 4 years old. But oh, I feel bad for Squirrel Girl who goes up and cries in the tree, and I'm like, oh. And that was like the most impactful part of that movie.
I mean, one of my favorite moments in that movie is that there is that line because they talk in the beginning of that sequence. He talks about gravity.
Oh yeah.
And how it's the force that pulls you down. And at the end, after he spoiler alert in case you haven't seen it, Merlin turns Wart back into a human, and he's like, "I'm not a squirrel, you see," and she's heartbroken. And
that's sad.
And then Merlin's like, boy, love is a pretty powerful thing.
It's like
and Wart goes, greater than gravity? He goes, yeah, I think it's probably the greatest force on Earth, which is a nice little line. It's a nice way to cap that sequence.
Yeah.
But I love how Disney has a thing where they love to end one sad sequence. With, yeah, like in Bambi, that's sad. But in Sword in the Stone, it's like, yes, it's the greatest force on Earth, and the sad violin music. And the next scene, you just hear the Sculler Man going, ah! It's just a scream. The kitchen, it's possessed! And it's like all the plates and everything are cleaning and just almighty. But it's like they love the juxtaposition of serene, quiet, sad, somber moment.
Yeah.
Come back in screaming, or yelling, or playing a nice happy tune. People happy. Meanwhile, after death,
next lesson, author. I'm going to teach you how to swing a sword around.
Are you okay? What? Are you okay? I'm still kind of depressed.
I broke that squirrel's heart, dude. That's not okay.
Wart, you got.
Oh my god, I'm sure somebody's fucking drunk.
Oh my god! If someone please send to Chris. Please send them if you can find it. It could be Rule 34. I don't know. Whatever you want. Just send it to him.
Rick and Morty dressed up as Merlin and Wart and fucking each other in the butthole.
And Meeseeks is the owl. And it'll be great.
I'm Mr. Archimedes. I'm sorry, Brian, if you ever hear this. Tangled. I'm gonna go to mine.
All right.
Speaking of romance, Tangled, one of the better romances in Disney, especially for the princess movies. I would say. A very, very unexpected, major inspiration. I remember, actually, I think you even were when we went to go see it. I think in our last year of college, we were just kind of in the process of finishing up our theses. And I think it was you, me, Mike, Vivian, and maybe Steve?
It was I mean, the movie was already out by that point.
Was it? But it was last year of college.
No, it was earlier.
Are you sure?
Wait.
No, I remember because I do remember because I was doing
after Princess and the Frog. So
it was
2010. That was we were sophomores going into juniors.
No. 2010 was because we graduated in 2011.
No, it was 2011 was Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, but before
Tangled
that,
was a year before that.
are you sure?
I know my.
Either way, I remember it being when I was at least working on my thesis, and because it was the first
You
time.
started earlier than everybody else.
That's true. Yeah, so maybe my timetable was different, but either way, the point was like I was working on that. And it was the first time that I ever used the balancing act IP for something, and I was like finally like courageous enough to want to use it in something that other people would see in a finite form. And at the time, I was always thinking about like, oh, I want to do a TV show someday, and blah blah blah. And then on a whim, I went to go see Tangled with everybody. And again, I'm pretty sure that you were with
I
us.
think we all saw it.
Yeah. Well, we all eventually saw it, but we went, and I was like, okay, yeah, maybe it'll be all right, because I wasn't like really. I remember I was disappointed to hear that the original plan for it of like they were going to make it look like a moving painting kind of thing was like changed or whatever. I mean, I'm sure it was a really early stage kind of thing. But I was a little bummed about that. But I was like, I'll go see it. It'll be a Disney movie. I'm sure it'll be pretty good because I liked Princess and the Frog before that. I saw that a couple times in theaters. I wanted to go check out Tangled, and I was blown away at how much I loved that movie. And in fact, the only footnote I'm going to give, and I've probably said this like years ago when I did the Frozen Kirblog when it first came out, I would still to this day put Tangled above Frozen for myself personally.
I would do the same.
Yeah, and like whether or not it is a better movie, like that's not for me to judge. But in terms of personal enjoyment, I love Tangled infinitely more.
It's a great. I really enjoy that movie, and the characters are a lot of fun. And I love going to the movies because I love the audience interaction.
Mm.
And one of my favorite audience responses to anything was I saw Tangled.
Yeah. And
there's that scene where they're at the Snuggly Duckling and they're about to beat up Flynn, and Rapunzel goes, "Stop! Haven't any of you ever had a dream?" And then the Brad Garrett hooked thug comes up to her and goes, "I had a dream once." And then there was a guy in the back of the theater who you just hear, literally in amongst the silence, that beat afterwards, you just hear, "What?" From the back. From the back of the theater, you just hear, "What?" And you're like, that was the perfect setup. Because then he started singing the song, and it was actually it was a really well-timed what.
Oh my god.
But that was a good movie. The characters are great. It was a beautiful looking. I mean, for CG.
Oh yeah.
It looked like. I mean, it looked like a moving. It looked like they took, and they did. They essentially took Glenn Keane's drawings and just made them 3D.
Yeah, no, and like visually, it's great. I mean, because like Rapunzel. See, okay, because a lot of the classic Disney movies, obviously based on pre-existing fairy tales and stuff like that, Rapunzel's a pretty like basic, like 2-second long. It's a nursery rhyme practically. Not really, but you know what I mean. But the fact that they like expanded into like a movie that was like pretty interesting, had some kind of cool like lore to it with like Mother Gothel and the kingdom and all that, and then also just like Flatline having Rapunzel, Eugene, and even the animal buddies were like a fun little crew of characters, and like you know what, actually it was much like with Emperor's New Groove, where it felt like it had the kind of sensibilities of like, oh, it's kind of a fun, goofy like TV cartoon, but it still works in the like the format of a real feature. Yeah, and I admit, like, even on that same note, like maybe like the kind of more like slapsticky kind of humor to it and like that sensibility is probably what resonated with me a little bit more, because if not that Frozen was like not funny, but like its sense of humor was a little bit more like muted. Yeah.
I mean, like with Tangled, I feel that what was I going to say about Tangled? But it was something more along the lines of, it felt like a unique movie. Yeah. While like I remember seeing Princess and the Frog and being really excited about Princess and the Frog, and then seeing it and then ultimately being very disappointed in it, only because to me it felt like Aladdin 2. It felt like Aladdin, well, not 2, but Aladdin in a box. Like
going through the motions of like the Disney cycle.
It felt in the same. It felt like it hit the same exact notes as Aladdin, and then it either hit him exactly like Aladdin, or they didn't even reach the bar. So there's things that are like parallel. Those movies are really, if you look at them side by side, there's a lot of parallels between those two movies. Right.
Well, that's the thing is like, okay, when I saw, just a side note, when I saw Princess and the Frog, I saw it multiple times in theaters, and I genuinely enjoyed it. And I still like it, but definitely looking back on it now compared to, we have this trifecta of the newer Princess movies between Princess and the Frog, Tangled, and Frozen. Especially after seeing Tangled, I look back and I'm like, I do get that. And to be fair, because it was the first time in a while they were doing a movie like that, and they were probably wanting to play it like relatively safe in terms of like
but that
this.
movie
This
also
is
took
the,
a long time to make.
Oh yeah, well, and I get why it's like. I mean, after that and Winnie the Pooh, it's like, yeah, I think we're done with doing these 2D movies.
Yeah.
It's like, which is a shame, but you know, that's showbiz, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Well, who knows? I mean, the thing about 2D is that it might not be mainstream as far as Disney anymore in terms of their feature output, but it's not like it's going to die away.
No, it's never gonna go completely, but it's a shame to see that like from Disney like probably isn't gonna happen again, or at least
But
not
at
for
the
a
same
long
time, Disney, if Disney was around, if Walt Disney was still around and he saw what they were doing with things like Tangled, he would eat that shit up. Like he would be like, "That is awesome."
Oh, in terms of like the visuals,
he would literally turn. If he would yell out into the studio if he could, "You're all fired."
I'm replacing you with computers.
Pretty much. I mean, I think he would. I don't think he would do it that far, but he would embrace computers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, he loved animatronics. He said that was the next step after 2D animation would be animatronics.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were talking about that when we were at Disneyland. I think,
Yeah.
one time.
He loved that stuff. But should we?
Yes. Well, on the note of that era of those Disney movies, number 4 is my favorite of those. So.
All right. So we're gonna do a 3, 2, 1 on that one.
3, 2, 1.
Dumbo.
Hercules.
I love how
polar opposite.
I love how yours is like Hercules, and I'm just like Dumbo.
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 A dummy bear.
A dummy bear. Where have you seen these dummy bears?
Dummy bears are from Rugrats. Tell me, this is actually what I'm happy about. Tell me about why Dumbo is such a good movie.
I think. I mean, I've said this before, but
well, I know, but tell the audience out there that.
I remember talking to my teacher in college and being like, "What is your favorite Disney movie?" He goes, "Oh, Dumbo for sure."
Who dat?
Howard Beckerman.
Oh yes, good old.
And I said, "Why Dumbo? It's such a short movie." He's like, "Yeah, but it's a perfect story." And I said, "What do you mean? It's about an elephant who fucking flies. So it's sort of a weird. It's not really a poetic story." And he goes, "Well, the thing about it is that it's as far as filmmaking goes, it's concise. It tells
true.
everything it needs to do." Everything it needs to say, it says everything it needs to say in just over an hour. It's like 64 minutes.
Yeah.
You're not left asking any questions. The songs are great. The sequences are great. There's a wide variety of stuff for everyone. It's just a nice, cute. And the thing is, at the time, Dumbo was a movie where they were making. Disney was used to making these huge epic movies that cost millions of dollars. Dumbo cost like a fraction of anything.
Was that one part of the original, like the first 5 that they did? Was that the last one of them?
That was because Bambi was after.
Oh, so because it was Snow White and then
Pinocchio,
Fantasia.
Dumbo.
Okay, got it.
I love doing that.
Dumbo.
Whenever I'm with friends and we're whispering, I'll start being like Timothy Mouse. I'll just go Dumbo. Because he whispers in the right massive ear in the movie, and he goes Dumbo.
Yeah, I know it's funny. I remember. I think you brought this up when we were at Disneyland a few visits ago about like Beckerman's point about it's a perfect movie, and I was like, I stopped and I was like, actually it is like because it being shorter plays completely to its strength. It never gets stale. It has a lot of like nice variety to it. Even with like, it's like circus, but it's like it's not too overbearing with that over and over. Like the acts are different. Like there's a lot of like really like emotional, like heartwarming and like sad moments. Like there's cool freaky moments.
And even like the pink elephants. The thing I love about pink elephants is that you use that. So people are like that makes no sense. Like why is this in here? And it's like it's in lieu of exposition.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're doing is you're using that because when you really think about it, a movie like Dumbo can't be made today, at least at Disney for this reason. Dumbo gets fucking drunk.
That's true.
He drinks champagne out of a bucket.
I mean, anime still makes jokes like that.
Yeah, and then Pink Elephants is him. It's used in exposition in lieu of him drunkenly flying up a tree.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just as surprised when you find out that he's up in the tree. And you're like, how the hell did he get up there? And you realize, he fly.
He was under the influence. And
the problem is, even like the thing about Dumbo is that even when they promoted it back in the 40s when it came out, the only image they would show was a flying elephant. So you're pretty much fucking spoiling. It's kind of like when people talk about Citizen Kane and everyone knows the reference of Rosebud before they even see the movie.
Oh yeah.
That's like Dumbo. It's like even as a kid, the cover of the movie is Dumbo flying. You're spoiling the ending of the movie.
I mean, to be fair, that's a pretty consistent problem with movies in general. Of like, well, we have to make it exciting, and we have to show that hook somewhere in the marketing somehow.
Right.
And
I mean, but the thing is, even then, like, it's not like a major spoiler. It's the journey of finding out how we got to that point is just as interesting as kind of discovering that it's like that. So for me, Dumbo, I just think it's a cute movie. It's really well animated. It's charming. The characters are great. The songs are fun. There's really a good variety of sequences, and I think it's just a very, especially for being a very short movie.
Are they doing a live action reboot of that?
Oh, I'm so excited!
Are they actually doing
Tim
that?
Burton's directing it.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Oh man!
Is he directing it?
Yeah, he's directing it. Here's what I want to see, because I know that they're probably going to do something that's sort of like like sort of PETA infused, like they want to not have elephants in the circus kind of story. And then I imagine, here's the thing, because people are like, well, the crows are racist. And it's like, well, I guess so, but they're not, they're likable
well, also, there's been a point about that, about how, like, the crows are actually, like, the most positive characters in the movie because they actually help
reinforce Dumbo.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I mean, they make fun of them at first, but they redeem themselves.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that they're not still racist characters.
Oh,
just they fucking are.
They're as charming as the cats and the Chinese cats and Lady Trap.
Yeah, charming.
And the Indians in Peter Pan. Like, not racist at all.
The Native Americans in Peter Pan.
Yeah, it's kind of awkward. I watched Peter Pan again recently, and watching that sequence, I was like, yeah, this is kind of awkward.
I went on the ride, and I'm just like, oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore. Yeah.
But like, with the crows in the Tim Burton movie, because I don't have a feeling they're going to be able to do those crows again. Here's what's going to happen: instead of black actors, they're going to cast Hispanic comedians.
George Lopez and
Carlos Mencia and Cheech Marin,
Gabriel
Iglesias.
Yes.
But that's going to be like, because the thing is, Tim Burton. If you notice in Tim Burton's movies, he loves racial stereotypes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Frankenweenie. It was loaded with them.
I've never seen Frankenweenie.
And then he goes like, it's going to be like, Dumbo, hey! And then there's a feather, man.
George Lopez.
It's like, Cheech Marin's going to be like, what's it going, man?
Hey, remember when I was a hyena, man? Jesus Christ.
I was a Carlos, man.
You know, to give a little bit of credit, by the way, on the side note, that fucking Lion Card show, that there's hyena characters, but they're not the original three, and they're not racial stereotypes.
Yeah.
Thank God.
But yeah, that's my 12 on Dumbo.
Dumbo is good. I before we even get to the end of this, Dumbo, leave thoughts about that. Have you guys like actually seen that in a long time, or like have you not seen it at all? Please watch Dumbo. Is that on anywhere, or you have to get the DVD of that?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, watch it on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
If you've never seen it, it's a very underrated classic Disney movie.
Yeah, it's great. It's a must watch.
So Heracles.
Heracles.
Yes.
The most perverted Disney movie.
Is it?
No, I mean I'm just saying that the stories.
I mean Meg's pretty
the
hot.
stories of Heracles, aka Hercules.
Oh yeah. No, well, not very accurate, but okay, for one thing, yes, obviously all of the fairy tale adaptations are completely like not accurate, but that's just like that comes with the territory of it.
A book is a lot different than a movie.
Yeah. And also, Little Mermaid turning into foam and dying is different than, But that said, when I look back, we're gonna start with this. I was thinking about that. This is the second golden era of Disney movies. Was Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, etc., Hercules. Like that string of movies from like 80s to 90s or so. And I look back at those, and I've rewatched a lot of those movies in the past maybe like 10 years or so, like kind of like right around before we started going to college. It's been that long already, Jesus fuck.
Can't wait for the reunion.
Right? Let's not. But I look back on those now, and especially because of how I've grown as a person and how like a lot of my like values and like perception of like stuff has changed. I look back and I mean, we've talked to death like off mic, excuse me, about the kind of yes, the kind of antiquated personality traits of characters like Jasmine and Aladdin, or Ariel and Eric, and even to a little bit more of an extreme extent, like Beauty and the Beast, Belle and the Beast, and how like a lot of elements of that stuff is like I don't know, guys. I like with like between the love at first sight, head over heels, like unrealistic kind of shit, and like the I want more, selfish kind of stuff with characters, those kind of things. I look at Hercules, and whenever I go back and I look at this one, I feel like there's something that sets it apart from that era of like the cool, hip, like 80s and 90s, like Disney movies that everybody was into. Because for one thing, at the very least, because Lion King was almost in this spot for me. And Lion King, I do respect still for, I was obsessed with it as a kid, obviously, and it was a major, major, major landmark for, like, more than any other Disney movie still to this day. But Hercules, I feel, is the most solid in terms of the overall, like, theme of it, the arc that the main character goes through, and especially in kind of what I was alluding to before, is the romance. I would argue that from that like sect of Disney movies from that time, I think that Hercules and Meg was the most realistically portrayed romance between two characters in those Disney movies.
Up to that point, yeah, for sure.
I mean, obviously,
I would disagree about a lot of things about like the solidity of the film.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of the Mad Libs of Disney movies, where it's like it's a Greek story, but it's kind of like, and you have.
It's that format, definitely.
The format is very. I mean, it's a kind of a weird hodgepodge of 15 million different things put together, but it works. Like, I mean, James Woods is great as Hades.
Oh yeah.
I mean, come on. Has there ever been a better role for Bobcat Goldthwait?
Who's the other one again?
The other actor?
Yeah.
Well, Pain and Panic. I don't know. I forget who played Pain.
It was another stand-up comedian, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but.
Fucking
but like those are great, and there's some really great moments in it. And it's weird though. It's
Susan Egan is fucking amazing on Meg as well.
Oh yeah, that's great. She's a great character.
And now she's amazing on Rose Quartz on Steven Universe.
Oh, she's Rose Quartz.
Right? I was like, wait a minute, because I heard her and I was like, who is that? She's amazing. And then like way later, I was like, oh, it's fucking Meg from Hercules, of course. Yeah, Susan Egan.
I'm waiting for the AMV. No chance, no way.
So I'm sure somebody's like fully animated that, quite frankly.
No, they probably just took footage and they had like Meg and her like crosses off.
Dude, do you not understand how dedicated to insane amounts that Steven Universe fandom is? Somebody has probably animated that.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I swear to God. Anyway, yeah, I mean, and I'm sure, like even if I watch it again now, there's probably some flimsy parts, just some things that could be made better. But I feel like in terms of the growth of Hercules himself, of because he has the I want more type of thing. He gets more, and then he realizes, oh, I'm being a dickhole. I need to stop, and I need to actually realize what is the true meaning of this thing that I wanted to be a god. What does it mean to be a god, and therefore in the positive spin of it, being this kind of thing that this literal person on a pillar that people hold and worship and look to for guidance, and in his case being specifically a hero. And I look at that and because a lot of the messages of some of those Disney movies they're a little convoluted, or they're just old fashioned kind of messages. But that one, even though it was from that same era and it was kind of the tail end of it, I feel like I can look back on that and be you know what? That's still pretty hey, it's about you make mistakes, but you get better and you get perspective and etc. And depending on the people you surround you with, kind of thing. And it's I think it's cool. I like that. So.
I mean, I enjoy it. I mean, this thing is certain movies, either as I've gotten older, as I've gotten older, I enjoy them more or I enjoy them less.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
For me, Hercules is definitely one of the latter. For me, for the longest time, Aladdin. I loved Aladdin. Then there was a period where I was just tired and sick and tired of Aladdin. Now I'm Aladdin was good, and I guess I'll have to give Hercules another chance. But
the last time you watched it, you weren't crazy about it.
No, I mean, there's certain movies that have grown on me. I remember seeing Hunchback as a kid, and not understanding it.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, I'm and I watched it again a month ago with a friend, and I'm what an amazing movie! It's the closest thing to a Broadway play that Disney's ever done.
Yeah. Well, Frozen also is pretty close.
But the thing is, think of it. I mean, as far as the songs and how the structure of the story is very much like a Broadway show. How they go from one sequence to another. Yeah, and I guess if Frozen was going to be a Broadway show, they could figure out a way.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Number 3?
Number 3.
All
Let's
right.
see. I'm gonna look at my list here.
I'm actually going to change mine because I don't know how the hell I missed this, and I realize it is still one of my favorites. So I'm going to have to replace my original
Mine is
number 3 with a different one.
I have 2 that I have more or less
Tied for 3.
No, not even tied. It's just I know that we're gonna say it at the same time, and
You think?
it's gonna be weird saying it.
Okay. Well, let's see.
Well, it's gonna be weird compared to what you're saying. Not because it's weird, just that it's gonna sound. It's just seeing the 2 names juxtaposed against each other. You'll see what I mean.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. You see what I mean? You just
couldn't
stopped. I didn't even say it.
I couldn't even. I was going to say Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch. It's pretty good though. Because I would have completely drowned it out. Because before I would still start talking, you would have still said Lilo and Stitch. You would have finished saying it, and I still would have had like 3 words to go.
Laughing my ass. Okay. Well, take 2. 3, 2, 1.
The
Lilo and
Adventures of
Stitch.
Ichabod and Mr. Toad. You see what I fucking mean? Oh my god! All right.
I think I've only ever seen that double feature one time, and I think it was because of your quick times back in college.
Yeah.
Because I know that was one I knew about it, but I never saw it. Oh yeah,
We watched it a bunch of times.
Uh,
in the background.
Well, we actually had I don't know if I know. Actually, you might remember because I think we showed you. We had an assignment in one of our classes about like we had to like do our own like version of.
Oh yeah, those
the
Rob Dress's character design class. Yeah.
Hey, Rob Dress. My favorite.
But you guys had to draw your own Ichabods and Brombones and Katrinas.
Yeah. So what about this one?
It's a lot of it is just to do with tone, and a lot of it has to do with the art. I feel like they perfected something when they did Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and they're both different. Like Mr. Toad, they were gonna make it a full feature film before the war, and then the war hit, and then they just cobbled it together into a 20-something minute thing, or close to 30 minutes.
A lot of great like very varied designs on that one.
Like the Mr. Toad segment was my introduction to the Wind in the Willows, and I love the Wind in the Willows. I love the book. I love the BBC animated series. I love everything to do. I love the Wind in the Willows, the story of the Wind in the Willows. So that was my first introduction. I love Mr. Toad. I love the art. I love the overall mood. It's very like down to earth in terms of and Ichabod are very down to earth in terms of style.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of show-stoppy looking backgrounds or pieces.
Ichabod was pretty funny because of like the narrator that was practically like at the forefront of that whole.
Well, yeah, because the weird thing is they had like Basil Rathbone, who was a famous British actor, narrating Toad, which makes sense for Toad. And then they had for Ichabod Crane, they had Bing Crosby. Which is like, imagine Sugar Bear from Sugar Crisp being like, Ichabod Crane could have used the big bowl of Sugar Crisp right about now.
Well, because in Mr. Toad, like the characters talk, but in Ichabod, like they didn't actually talk.
They were all silent.
Yeah.
And then there was occasionally they would have the narrator, Bing Crosby, would speak as Brombones if he was singing.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And stuff like that. But mostly it was.
Wasn't he like the heartthrob, like sexy voice of that time or something?
Oh yeah, he was a very popular, especially in the 1940s. He was an extremely popular entertainer and singer. He starred in a lot of movies, and he was a famous singer. He was probably one of the most famous or well-recognized singers in America at that time, up until the 1950s, through the 1950s, that is. But like, I love the characters. I love the animation is fantastic, especially on Ichabod.
Oh yeah.
And I love. There's something about I actually because of Ichabod I started because I had the smear Tumblr.
Oh yeah. Is that still up?
It's up, but I don't update it anymore.
By the way, if you haven't checked out the Animation Smears Tumblr, I'll link to that too. It's pretty funny. It's got a lot of cool. Well, actually, explain for the kids at home. What is a smear?
An animation smear is in live action film because a person will move faster than the camera shutter speed, which is 24 frames a second. It'll create. That's why you see a blur because the camera can't capture the movement quick enough, so it blurs that 2 or 3 images together. That's something that happens automatically in film. In and animation, there is no such thing as a blur. You have to physically make it. And originally it was a dry brush blur, which is where they blur the drawing physically with paint. But then people got creative with it and instead would actually make the whole face, smear a face or a hand, so it was one shape, or have multiple hands, and you don't see it, but you feel it. And when you watch it in motion, it just feels right. And so I collected a bunch of them, and then I opened up submissions, and people were submitting smears from shows, and I had a whole Tumblr, and it has 250,000 followers.
Wow.
But I don't update it anymore because it's more trouble than it's like.
Well, either way, it's still got like a ton of shit. I think you can still like submit stuff to it, right?
Well, I actually just yesterday I closed submissions on it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway.
Because there's so many to queue, and then people don't know how to. I mean, I'm just insulting Tumblr users. They don't know how to tag posts. They don't know how to post the right thing. They post duplicates of.
You're all idiots.
Pretty much, and so I'm just like done. I'm like, it's run its course. I'm
That's
done.
fair. No, but it's got a ton of cool stuff
It's
on
up there. I'm not going to delete it. It's going to be there forever.
Yeah.
It's just don't. Yeah. But then after that, I created because I was so obsessed after watching Kirblog Crane. I'm like, cartoon food looks so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do
Krabby Patties.
I'm gonna do the fuck yeah animated food Tumblr. And I started it, and then it didn't catch on like the smear Tumblr, but it's there. But I thought the food in Ichabod Crane looks amazing. He eats a turkey leg. He eats a pie. He eats eggs.
Animated food. What is it?
I think it's because when you draw that food, you're drawing the best aspects of the food.
That's true.
Like if you see every time I've ever seen like a fried egg, it has that crappy, crispy, nasty edge of an egg. You never see that in animation. You just get the most beautiful yolks, and chickens always look perfectly.
Making me hungry right now.
Nothing looks burnt or undercooked. It's just everything. A steak in a cartoon looks amazing. Even raw steaks look amazing. I mean, even like Winnie the Pooh's honey. I mean, I've known so many people who thought that Winnie the Pooh's honey was nacho cheese.
Or they imagine it to be so in their fantasy.
Or that it was like caramel cream or something.
Oh my god.
But
it can be if you go to Disneyland, buy all their fucking desserts.
Right, but if you go to if you watch Ichabod's eating all this food, and it's the most amazing looking food.
Mm.
Like he eats a turkey leg, and the turkey leg has fucking hair on it because it's feather hair. You ever see in a cartoon, old cartoons?
Oh yeah.
Turkey legs that have hairs on them.
Yeah.
It's from feathers when they pluck the feathers out. And they miss one or two, and they fry and they crisp.
That's a really old school gag.
Yeah, but the food looks so good, and the story's great. I mean, despite the fact that they have Bing Crosby crooning his way through a story from the 1800s, it's still and oh my god, the horseman chase is amazing.
Oh yeah. Super
Layout and color and everything.
And fucking legendary
I actually have that sound effect in my sound effects.
Oh yeah, I remember
just
that.
it by itself, just the scream.
Just isolated.
Yeah, with the reverb. I have it somewhere.
I remember just to kind of close out that one too is when you were first showing me you're going frame by frame through quick times. I remember there's a shot where Ichabod is running away, and it's very clearly the type of the circle feet run, what inspired Sonic the Hedgehog's kind of run, where he's and running away, and it's his legs are on a faster frame rate than the rest of his body.
His body was on twos, and they are doing 2 frames.
Yeah,
every 2 frames. And
seeing that, I was that was the first time I ever even thought of animation in that technical of an aspect, and I was that's really cool. And for it being so early on, excuse me, Morty, for it being so early on Disney's animation history, it's pretty impressive. Lilo and Stitch.
Very good movie.
I forget. It's weird because literally, I had Emperor's New Groove as my number 3 previously, and I do still love that movie. Maybe I'll even tie them. But Lilo and Stitch, I finally rewatched that again, within the last year or so. My God, I kick myself for how often I forget how good of a fucking movie
I
it
feel the
is,
same way.
and how much it's what
it's one of my favorite of the contemporary movies.
Yes,
because the thing about it is that the relationships seem organic; they don't seem hackneyed.
Yeah,
and on top, it's very contemporary. And as far as style goes, because the thing about Disney is that Disney they have their own house style.
Mm-hmm.
There's only several movies that have broken away from what is considered the house style, where they have a sole designer design a movie.
Yeah.
They did it with Bambi. They did it with Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And in the case of Lilo and Stitch, they had Chris Sanders, who is amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. By the way, Chris Sanders just started up his comic strip again. If you follow him on Instagram, Chris Sanders, he's been updating new strips of Kiskaloo.
Oh yeah, Kiskaloo. That's wrong. I forgot about this.
Yeah, but he's doing new because he was so busy working on. He was starting to work on dragons, and then he started work on Croods.
Oh, okay.
And so then he was like, "Now I got free time," so he just did more. He did a whole bunch of comics.
Right.
So yeah, he's the movie's great. I mean, they're likable characters, very unique designs.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie is so. And the thing is, that's probably one of the only Disney movies, one of the very few that aren't based on a pre-established.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Chris, that was a story that Chris Sanders came up with himself
Yep.
years and years and years before, and then he just made it.
Yeah, and it's like the tone of it like for it having like very like literally alienatic, and fantastical kind of characters like Jumba and Pleakley and Stitch himself, obviously, and the Gantu and the Empress or the Councilwoman or whatever.
Councilwoman.
Like it, in that kind of sense, it's like unrealistic, and yet everything about like the tone and the execution of the movie, it feels real.
Yeah.
It totally, and the biggest reason of which, I love Stitch. Stitch is a super iconic character, but I fucking love Lilo.
Lilo is probably the most realistic child ever
in a Disney. Yeah, like hands down. Like, and I wish I could remember that actress's name. I'm sure she's like our age by this point, but like she was so good in that movie.
Yeah.
Like
My friends need to be punished.
So I'm putting them in the glass. Her and then the older sister. The two of them in particular, like I believed everything at all times that was coming from those two characters together. And Stitch being like, the wrench thrown in was the funny shit. And then even he had some emotional moments too. But like Lilo and what is the older sister's name? Nani. The two of them like make that movie for me. Also, Cobra Bubbles. Because who the fuck doesn't love Cobra Bubbles?
Oh man, he's great.
Fucking animated Ving Rhames.
Yeah.
Just like those of you who have followed a lot of my other Kirblog who have talked about other like anime and movies and shows and games and stuff that I've liked, you've probably gathered that like, well, I have like a fair range of taste. Like the stuff that I take to the most is the stuff with the very like real kind of tone to it, and like. Especially when it comes to like conversational kind of scenes where like it's not like Michael, what are we gonna do? It's like what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like the difference between that and that, where it's like I just really take to that.
Genuine acting.
Yeah.
Genuine performance. That's what I love to see in a movie, especially nowadays. It's the inside out dog. It's inside out dog ear theory for me.
Yeah.
But it's the little relatable things that I love, and that movie has a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Even though it's also like it's based around a particular kind of culture, and it's interesting too because Moana is taking place in Hawaii. Yeah,
it's Polynesia, which is the certain islands in the Pacific. It's not specifically Hawaii.
Oh, okay, then I apologize.
At least I don't think it's specifically Hawaii.
No, you're right about that. Well, okay, either way. Then in that case, Lilo and Stitch is the movie, the Disney movie about Hawaiian culture, and for for that being something different than like the typical European type of stuff you would expect from a lot of like the really popular ones. Not Aladdin obviously, but it's just cool that like for it being like for the human characters being treated so like unfantastically or whatever, they were so real, like everything they were going through was like so like you got it, like you felt it, like and like how shitty their situation was and like how much you wanted things to work out, and like Stitch keeps ruining things, and it's like, oh god, like
I mean, imagine knowing that there is a custody battle going on between a older sister and her younger sister who recently lost their parents, and then while they're trying to prove to technically the government that they need to be together and they can't be separated, a fucking alien crashes in there. Of all the places where it could land, it lands on an isolated island in the middle of the ocean, which is like, it's kind of amazing to think of it in that way. And I have two things to say about Lilo and Stitch. One, if you can find that online, it's online. You can find it on YouTube. The original climax of the movie.
Oh, the
747, where they hijack a plane. And they animated, this is great. And then 9/11 happens, and they're like, oh shit.
This is coming from two New Yorkers, by the way.
And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And two, it's a shame.
It's a very cool sequence, but
it's the movie that John Lasseter hates.
Really?
He hates Lilo.
Why?
He says it's anti-Disney. It's too quirky for its own good.
Oh, whatever. I don't know. Sorry.
Says the man who directed and loves. He thinks Mater is the most dynamic character that Pixar has ever created.
Oh, Johnny, you silly bitch.
Go back to your wine cellar. Sorry.
Closet full of. Michael is a big fan, isn't he? All right. Number 2.
He's as warm and loving as if you hugged Miyazaki. That was disturbing. You can find that video too online. Miyazaki hugging John Lasseter hugging Miyazaki like a child hugging Barney. Like it's the most awkward. It's the most.
That sounds amazing.
Miyazaki, he was crying like on the inside. He's like, I've been through hell. This is the worst thing I've ever been through. Having a giant baby man.
Oh my god.
All
right.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ. No, it's fine.
All right.
Sorry, John Lasseter, if you ever hear this.
All right.
Ever.
It's all right. I mean, like I said, my favorites are not in any particular order.
Okay.
If I say one, and then I could say because this is whatever.
Well, we have 2 left.
You have 2 left.
Two
But
left
I think
each,
I'm not doing it any particular. Like this is my number 1 is my absolute favorite.
Well, either way. Well, I am. So,
All right, so
for cuff.
Fine.
1, 2, 3. Wreck-It
Fantasia.
Ralph. You talk about Fantasia first.
That's my Click movie. That's the movie that got me into animation in the first place.
It was
Incredibly boring.
no.
I fall asleep during it. It's my favorite movie, and I still.
Well, at least you're being honest. No, I was going to say it was also one of your screen names at one point.
Fantasia, man.
Fantasia made 2000.
People think I'm a fan of Fantasia Barello, the singer, and I'm like, fuck you. Who?
Actually?
Yeah, people think, I didn't know you were a huge Fantasia
God.
Barello fan.
Fantasia,
Fantasia,
talking about.
It's not a great title.
Fantasia. Talk about Fantasia.
I think of it. I met John Canemaker, who's an animation historian in New York, and he describes it best. He says it's a sacred monster of a movie, which is a good way of putting it. Because the thing about it is that it's kind of it tries to reach a high mark, and in many ways it just doesn't reach it. Like it tries. It's almost the movie tries too hard to be like, look, we can do. We're artsy and fartsy.
Mm-hmm.
And
it led to that great joke at Rocko's Modern Life with the
wacky
Ralph Big Head
canceled. But the thing about Fantasia is that it's kitschy art, it's high art, it's beautiful, it's ugly, it's exciting yet extremely boring. It's definitely like a mixed bag.
It's a legendary feat of animation.
Oh my god,
undeniably.
The movie's practically special effects all through it. It's a beautiful movie, and the scenes in it that don't work or aren't as good. But the thing is, having them all in there together is what makes that movie good, because it makes the good stuff really good.
What would you consider the really good stuff of that one?
Oh, I love this. I mean, most people are like, because I want to tell you very briefly my history with Fantasia.
Oh, sure.
Me and my grandmother used to watch Disney movies. We used to watch the Walt Disney Show on TV when I was a little kid, and she would give us an After Eight mint. There was these mints called After Eights. They're like Andes mints, but they're flat. And she would get a box of them, and she would give me and my sister, a mint. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you can't eat it until after 8, because they're called After Eights. And the show would start at 8 o'clock, and we'd look at the clock, and we want to eat it. And she's like, no. And we'd either eat the whole thing in one bite, or we'd just nibble it over the course of the hour of the show. Uh-huh. And it would be it was probably the last generation of people who would watch the old Walt Disney Show. Mm-hmm. So we would watch it, and then they would show like how animation was made, or Disney cartoons, or a Disney movie with Walt introducing them, or whatever. And then there were certain days where they would show like, what the fuck, Zorro, Swamp Fox, Davy Crockett. What's this bullshit? This is boring. Apple Dumpling Gang, bullshit. Let's put on a Disney movie.
The Banana Splits.
That's not Disney.
I know. I'm sorry.
But you ruined everything. Yeah. But we'd go into the closet and we'd pull out one of the old Disney movies and watch it. So one day, something stupid was on that I didn't like. I don't know. The computer wore tennis shoes. I don't know, something stupid, which is an actual movie, by the way. Merlin Jones. I don't know. Either way, the $1 Million Duck, Shaggy DA. These are all Disney movies.
My God.
So anyway, a shitty movie came on, and we went to the closet, and I saw the Fantasia VHS, and it was still in the plastic. I never saw it before.
With Mickey on the cover.
Mickey on the cover,
yeah,
like.
Yeah.
And my grandma was like, I haven't seen this movie in years. Let's watch it. And I'm like, ooh, it's a Mickey Mouse movie. We put it on. And it's just some bald guy talking, and then a bunch of shapes moving around, and then like mushrooms dancing. Like, what? I'm like, what the hell? And then I see the brooms and Mickey, and I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then my grandmother was like, look at the hard work they put into this thing. And I'm like, who's they? And she's like, "Are you fucking stupid?" No, she didn't say that. But she's like,
"Oh man, I thought Grandma Rocco was cool."
You know the artists like that we watched? And he's like, "No, I thought they were just drawing pictures of Mickey Mouse." No, they're drawing Mickey Mouse. They're making that. They're drawing every one of those things is a drawing.
Every fraction of a second that Mickey's moving around, some asshole was painstakingly drawing him over and over on Disney paper that they own everything you ever draw on.
And then I thought, like, oh my god. And I said, oh my god, someone had to draw all those brooms and the water and all that stuff. That's really cool. I want to do that. And that's what started me getting the ball.
So that was like the moment. How old were you?
I was like 6 or 7.
Wow.
So it was pretty young, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I watched that movie again, and I still have the VHS at home. I'm surprised I didn't wear it, because I wore out other tapes. But that movie, I gravitate towards, and it's that's like my relaxation movie. Whenever I'm like, I need to zone out, I put Fantasia on in the background. If I sit down and watch it, I'll put some popcorn. I'll chill out. That's like my chill out, my go-to chill out movie.
Oh yeah, it's a good one for that. Well, especially because it's almost 3 hours.
It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's long for a Disney movie. It's long, and if you include because there's an intermission in the middle of the movie. If you watch it again, take the 15-minute intermission, because that movie you need the 15-minute intermission. It's so you are tired by the time you get to the dinosaurs. You're like, and that's the thing about because the way they organize it, it's like the toccata. What an interesting kind of avant-garde way to start a movie. Oh, cute little flowers and stuff. That's kind of poetic. Ooh, Mickey brooms. And there's all this positive energy brought up with Mickey and the brooms and the Sorcerer's Apprentice. And then death, dinosaurs, murder. And then, like, intermission you have to take. And then it's, like, cute fairies that are kind of boring, which I love them, but they're boring. And then Dance of the Hours with the dancing alligators and hippos. And then
the basis for Revenge of the Crocodile.
Right, and then pretty much Night on Bald Mountain, which is the fucking most frightening fucking thing that Disney's ever done. It's literally
still to this day.
It's literally Satan controlling demons in Russia. Yep. And then, for some reason, nuns and pilgrims.
Wait, where is
Where does it take place?
No. Where is what the fuck? The centaur.
I did. I said it was the.
That's the fairy one.
The fairies. And
oh, okay.
Well, no, fairies are in Nutcracker. I mean, cupids and fawns and centaurs.
Yeah.
They're all in the pastoral, which is like halfway through the movie.
And the also another racist caricature character that they cut out.
Oh yeah, Sunflower. The forgotten.
Look that one up.
It's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube.
Jesus.
But yeah.
Is that on the VHS?
No.
Oh, okay.
I cut it out of the VHS. I cut a lot of the VHS. Because I remember getting on DVD. My favorite DVD that I still own is the original. They had something called the Fantasia Legacy, which was all 3 Fantasia 2000, and like a bonus DVD of just bonus content. That's still my favorite DVD. No DVD to me, and that was the first DVD I ever bought. No DVD collection comes close to me. Than that.
See, okay, so as a kid, I had the VHS too, obviously, and I watched it all in full. And I remember like a lot of those like earlier age Disney movies, at that age, I'm just like, this is boring. It's not Aladdin or Lion King or whatever, because I was like 3 or whatever.
A lot has changed in 60 years.
Yeah, but also definitely something the something is Mickey himself in Sorcerer's Apprentice is the one that I think the kids always remember and always enjoy.
Yeah, it was just Mickey Mouse. So
yeah, really but it's funny because also I think I told you this before. It might have even been like when we met. I mentioned like when I was a kid, I was like, oh, that's a whole Fantasia long, because I used to think it was 3 full hours. So whenever something would take that long, I'd be like, oh man, that's gonna take the length of fucking Fantasia. Like that was my way of saying that as a kid, apparently.
Mommy, Fantasia's fucking long.
It's like, honey, don't say the word fucking. It's actual conversation with my mother, not really.
Don't say fucking. Say frickin'.
Frickin'.
Or fuggin'.
Fugin. Fekin. Fennekin.
Frog gigging.
Froky. Stop. I would love to actually sit down, and we should do that at some point, and actually watch Fantasia, and I can fully absorb the whole thing from front to back.
Speaking of which, I watched it when I moved here, and I met with some friends. Of course, I live in California now.
How long have you been here now?
4 years, almost. But, the thing about California is that everybody smokes weed. Watching Fantasia high is amazing.
Don't recommend it?
Oh,
Do recommend it?
I did.
We do not recommend here on Kirblog doing.
You have two. This is our crossfire moment where we're like, if you're gonna watch Fantasia, if you need that extra little boost,
I'm not saying a goddamn word.
Just
How was your experience with that though?
Oh my god, it's 10 times better.
like actually.
I mean, it depends on what you take. It's not like you can't just smoke any kind of skunk ass weed.
Jesus Christ! You don't even smoke that often.
Look right there. I got a fucking thing of it right there. I might be high right now. No,
he might be joking right now.
I am joking.
He's joking right now.
I am. I have actually. That stuff has been there for like 3 months. I haven't smoked any of it.
Great. Good. Thank you for archiving that a fucking hour into this goddamn talking about lovely children, family movies.
Talking about lovely children.
Lovely children, yes. Like Lilo. Fantasia.
Yeah.
What the fuck was my number 2? Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph was good.
Let's talk about Wreck-It Ralph now, and not your fucking
hot
influence.
I'll let you talk about your experience with Wreck-It Ralph, and then I'll tell you my Wreck-It Ralph story.
Okay. Well, actually, my Wreck-It Ralph story begins with you. My God, gaps in the
Might actually be the same fucking story.
Well, okay, then tell me if you remember this. So I believe this was definitely last year at college. We were hanging out at SVA, and you were talking to me about the next
Joe Jump,
the next three or four movies, and you mentioned Joe Jump, and I'm sure you remember. I was like, "What the fuck is that?"
You literally went, "Oh."
Yeah, and you were like, and it was like, "Oh, they're doing like a video game, like a Mario type of movie," and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so. I had the most like negative, like immediate assumption that it was gonna be super lame and like pandering or whatever, and it was gonna be totally stupid. And then I forgot about it after that point. Was that it, or was there something else?
No, it's actually a different story.
Oh, you carry on. Go ahead.
No, you finish.
Well, fine. So years later, the first couple trailers are coming out, and I am immediately like enamored by holy shit, I got to see this movie. Like as soon as I saw the first actual trailer of it, not like the little like the arcade machine preview or whatever, like the first real trailer, I was like, oh wow, oh this is gonna be cool. Because I could tell, okay, they were on top of their shit, they did their research, these characters seem pretty cool, I'm interested. I saw Wreck-It Ralph, the premiere of Wreck-It Ralph. At Youmacon 2011, I believe that was the
no,
year. It was 2012.
It was after because it was
2012. No, you're right. It was.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I went in 2011 and 2012, and a lot of the same people were there. But I went to see Wreck-It Ralph, and Youmacon 2012, the weekend it premiered, in a room full of a large number of some of my closest friends at the time. Mike Lucas was there for one thing, which was great. And it was a room filled. It was a theater that was built into the convention center, and I was so obviously because it was the weekend of Anime Con, it was all people who appreciated video games, and I cried like 3 fucking times in that movie, and people were cheering during the credits, and it was incredible, and it was such an unforgettable goddamn experience. Like that in and of itself, so like that alone biases me. It biases me even more so than the fact that it's about video games and Bowser's in it and blah 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 whatever. But like I've probably watched that movie now maybe about like 5 or 6 times like in total. Showed it to a lot of different people who missed it when it was in theaters. Kira actually hadn't seen it in theaters. We showed it to her and she really liked it, which was cool. It could have been such a stupid fucking movie, like such a gimmicky, like pandery kind of movie, and it was so incredibly good.
Yeah.
And Rich Moore is my goddamn hero in terms of animation, directing, and like storytelling. Like, and I mean, obviously the whole entire crew of people that worked on that, of course. But just like I can't say enough good things about that movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy that it is getting a sequel because it is one of those cases where I was like, you know what? I would be okay with seeing a sequel because I think that there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with that. So
my story is that Wreck-It Ralph came out during Hurricane Sandy. It came out the week Hurricane Sandy hit.
That's right.
And so I remember everybody wanted to go see it, and then the entire Eastern Seaboard had absolutely no fucking power.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone was talking about. I remember when I did have internet connection, I would look at my phone and people would be like, "Wreck-It Ralph was amazing. King Candy's my favorite character." And I'm like, "No, I want to see it."
Did you get anything spoiled for you?
I almost did.
Ooh.
I was thankful that I did. But I avoided it because the internet was so bad. So like
Yeah.
I didn't really, and power and stuff. It was really bad. We we were living in the cold for a while, and then finally power started coming back in New York City, and I said I gotta get away. I just have to. And the train started working again. So me and a couple people, I think it was Vivian Madrano and a couple of the other
Hi,
classmates.
Vivian, if you ever
Hi.
hear this.
And a couple people that we knew who were freshmen,
Oh, yeah.
or they were going into sophomore year. We went to Times Square, and Times Square was dead.
Jesus.
Nobody was there. Like it was like I Am Legend at night, and it was rainy and wet, and the streets were filled with like just papers and trash and things knocked over. And we go to the movie theater, and we saw Wreck-It Ralph, and it was like the biggest breath of fresh air that we had in weeks.
Yeah.
Because we had no power, we had no hot food. Shit was hitting the fan at home, and people's houses were being destroyed and flooded, and it was cold. The winter was coming, so people didn't have homes, and they were freezing. And it was the first nice moment of all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a nice, and it made in a way, it almost made the movie so much better because it was a good movie, but because it came at just the right time, and the fact that movie made bank even when most of the East Coast had like no power.
Yeah, seriously.
Or we're like, I'm bailing water out of my house. I'm not going to go to the fucking movies.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. It was a good movie. I love the characters. I love the story. I love the pacing of the movie. There's some things about it that are a little like weird because at one point it just turns from a video game movie into like a food movie.
Oh well, yeah, it's funny because it's called Sugar Rush in Japan.
Yeah.
Which
the
is
movie's called Sugar Rush.
Yeah.
But like it's strange because like at one point the movie turns into like referencing Laffy Taffy and Oreo and Send Out the Devil Dogs and I mean I remember being in the theater and a few people laughed because a lot of people didn't understand the reference. That was
my dad loved that joke.
Oreo. And that was fantastic. I mean I wonder how much they had to pay to use the rights to.
That's the fucking magic of Disney is you can just like, oh yeah, we can make that joke. $10 billion for being able to say Oreo.
The only company in the world that can afford characters singing "Happy Birthday to You." If you notice that most Disney movies, if there's a birthday, they'll sing "Happy Birthday to You" because they can afford the rights to pay for "Happy Birthday"
from those evil old ladies who.
But the thing is, they found out that nobody actually owned the copyright to "Happy Birthday."
Ah.
So now it's in the public domain. And I forget who it is. I don't know if it's Warner Music or Universal Music. They have to pay back everybody in the last 15 years who had to bought the rights to that song.
Well,
thousands.
Them's the breaks, ladies.
They've been dead for God knows how long.
Good.
But it's a great movie. The cast is amazing.
Oh yeah. Sarah Silverman and John C. Reilly in particular.
Oh man,
so good.
Jack McBrayer is fantastic.
Yep. Jane Lynch.
Jane Lynch is great.
Fucking
Alan Tudyk, and he's in everything. He's going to be playing the chicken.
Yeah, he's Disney's John Ratzenberger now. I'm noticing he's the good luck charm.
It's weird because the thing is, in Moana they have a dumb chicken, and I have a dumb chicken, but they're completely different chickens. So it's okay.
My original chicken.
My chicken.
Cannibal chicken. I miss Cannibal Chicken.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like, it's like people are like, what the hell is a cannibal chicken?
You'll find out in 20 years when For the Birds becomes the biggest hit animated feature you ever danked on. So
I'm good.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Anyway. But anyway, yeah, Wreck-It Ralph's good.
Yeah, it is. I was once again kind of like the Tangled, like pleasantly surprised. Not only pleasantly surprised, but blown away at how much it was inspiring. Because I didn't even say this when I was talking about Tangled like 30 years ago. 1 whole hour ago, sorry. That and Wreck-It Ralph, I think those two movies in particular were the ones that really made me think, like, you know what? I want to do movies. Because as much as I love doing series, as I did with stuff like Tome and things, I really have gotten into studying more films, like shorter, like couple hour long experiences of a full story and like having a message come through that than just like expanding it through a 13 to 26 episode thing. Not that there's anything wrong with that either, because I love that too, but it made me think a lot more about doing movies, and they were just back to back. Those two were so incredibly well done. and you know the people who worked on both, leading into my number one, which I'm sure you know. But
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
shall we?
Is it Black Cauldron?
You got it, dude.
I didn't know that.
The
was
whole
there.
basis for Legend of Zelda, man, came from that shit.
Oh man,
You know?
it's so good.
Totally. I love the dog creature.
So my number. We have to say our number one now.
Yep.
Okay, so you count down.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
The Many Adventures
Zootopia.
of Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Well, that's not my Fantasia is my number one, but I swapped.
Oh, okay.
Winnie
Well,
the Pooh.
you've ruined everything.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to start this one because I'm going to say, since I already did a whole Kirblog about how much I could gush over and over about Zootopia, I'll leave my thoughts to that. If you haven't seen that already, go check that out. What do you think of Zootopia, Mike?
I really like Zootopia. I mean, first of all, I was thankful to see a Disney movie that didn't involve just a mostly human cast.
Yeah.
For the first time since what, Chicken Little?
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago.
Was that 15 years? No, it wasn't.
It was pretty
You were
long.
fucking with me. That was not 15 years ago.
2003, I think that movie came out.
Okay, that's not. No.
Let's see,
either way.
10, 12, 13 years.
Was that 2003?
Around that.
Jesus. Oh my god. It's alright. Carry on.
But yeah, so it's kind of nice to see it. I mean, I thought the story was great. I mean, the timing with where the world is right, especially in this country where everything is right now. The message that movie had was very strong.
Absolutely.
The animation was fantastic. The characters were great, and I just love that it was a buddy cop movie. And it just was. It was an '80s buddy cop movie, but with animals, and the animal designs were fantastic. I enjoyed it. I think I saw that movie. How many times did I see that movie in theaters? Because I saw it with different people. I think I saw it maybe 3 or 4 times. At different times.
I saw it twice in theaters. Ben Diskin has watched that movie about 7 million fucking times. He got the Blu-ray, and like because
on the background.
look, you remember when I got out of that. I said this in the crew plot too. But you remember when I got out of that movie? I was like, oh, I was like on cloud fucking nine at how much I loved it, and like you know I liked it enough to also want to go see it a second time in theaters. But Ben has watched it like so many goddamn times on
The
Blu-ray.
movie's only been out for like 6 months.
Yeah, and it's already legendary because of just how fucking good it is. Like on all aspects, like by the craftsmanship, by the technicalities, by the story, by the characters, by everything. By what I hope is the impact that it's going to leave on an entire. Hopefully multiple generations of people from here on out. Like it's amazing. It's truly an amazing movie.
Yeah. It's good.
It's funny because I am now surprised that actually you didn't say Fantasia, bless you, for last.
Well, I mean, like I said, I didn't do them in order.
Well,
I didn't know we were supposed to do them in top 5 order.
although it is funny though because Winnie the Pooh has been kind of a consistent like sort of joke between like you and me and a lot of our friends from school.
Oh yeah, 'cause, I mean the thing about Winnie the Pooh and they, Chris and everyone else I've talked to everyone. I just love the thing that I love the most about Winnie the Pooh, besides just the overall mood of it, is that the character chemistry is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Because on the surface there are very simplistic characters, but the thing I like about it is that the chemistry of those characters is so strong. If you put any 2 or 3 or 4 of those characters in a room or a situation together, and there'll be chemistry.
That's true.
You put Pooh and Rabbit in a scene together, there's chemistry. You put Tigger and Eeyore in a scene together, there's chemistry.
Or any 3 sometimes, depending.
3, yeah.
I mean that from the more recent one from a couple of years
And
ago.
I love the more recent one, but the one I'm talking about is the original.
Oh yeah. But I'm saying like in that one, like I hadn't seen that, but the one scene I saw was when Pooh and Rabbit are stuck in the hole and Piglet's trying to fish him out or whatever.
Yeah.
And even just that, it's like, oh, this is cute and
Great.
fun. Yeah.
You never saw the whole thing?
No, I never got
Watch it, man. It's good.
We should.
Yeah.
We should do it.
It's good. It's good. It's short.
Yeah.
I remember showing it to Jaxie, and she was like, "What the fuck was this?" Nothing happened.
It's Winnie the fucking Pooh. Of course, nothing
Nothing
happened.
happened. That's the thing. It's like like the thing about Winnie the Pooh is that you could see the punchline to a joke a mile away, but it's how the characters deal with the situation is what makes it interesting. And they're such lovable characters. I love. I'm talking. My favorite is the original.
This is the one from the.
It's the shorts. They compiled all the shorts into a film.
Okay.
So it's Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, and Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2 all together. And they're so charming, and I love the style, and I love the animation, and the songs, and just the overall mood, and the fact that it looks like the original illustrations of the books, the E.H. Shepard illustrations from the teens and 20s.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so beautiful. It's like one of my biggest that and like Pogo and Bone and a couple other things are like my biggest visual and artistic inspiration
For your drawings. Yeah,
I love Winnie the Pooh. So like anytime there's anything Winnie the Pooh related, because the thing about I really don't like to compare, because I know Doug Walker did a whole thing about it, but the thing about it is that it's true. I don't think I know anybody who could say that they just like Winnie the Pooh is a lot like Snoopy, where no one can say that they hate Snoopy.
Yeah.
Or Winnie the Pooh. They can be like, I don't really care for him, but I don't hate him.
Yeah.
But no one's like, people like see Mickey Mouse and they're like, fuck Mickey Mouse. Fuck him. Olaf, fuck him. But Winnie the Pooh, you're like, he's cute. Snoopy, oh, I like him.
I mean, it's easy to also have that like Winnie the Pooh is for babies, because like there was like the kids like this.
But the
like,
thing is, I like about it is
show.
that it harkens back to my childhood in many ways.
Mm.
It's a movie. Really, I mean, it is for little kids, but there's something about it that's so just charming and slow, and the pace of it is kind of slow and kind of meanders. But that's the thing is, I love movies where you just see how a character lives their life.
Mm-hmm.
In many ways, those movies are just like, here's a normal day in the life of Winnie the Pooh and his friends, and they overthink things, or they overdo things, or they don't see things through because they have a very simple childlike mindset. But it's amazing. It's so charming to see how they function in everyday life, which is what that movie and the new Winnie the Pooh movie essentially is. It's literally just the course of a day.
Yeah.
From when Winnie the Pooh gets up in the morning till the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's the whole movie. And I love that movie in that sense, because I just love seeing a character try to go through their day and shit's going on around them, and just seeing how they perceive life
It's
around
kind of
them.
interesting that it is like all within the span of one day, actually.
Yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
The old one is small.
Well, yeah, it was 3 different things, but probably fits together better than the fucking Digimon movie does. I actually remember. I don't think I've ever said this to you before. I remember back when like my family and I, or at least for a while, me and my dad specifically, when we used to go to Disney World together. I remember there was a time when a lot of the merchandise that had like all of like the first party, like, well, not first party, the main Disney characters, like Mickey and all of them. Excuse me. When they would have the group of the typical ones together, Mickey, Pluto, Goofy, Donald, Daisy, Minnie, they would have Winnie and Tigger in there. Like, I just said Winnie Pooh. Jesus Christ. Nobody calls him Winnie. Jesus.
Still call him late for dinner.
Isn't Winnie... I should just end, literally right there, just cold end. They usually would have Pooh and Tigger, like, in that type of stuff. I remember I had, like, a sweater that had, like, the Disney logo, but it was, like...
I remember it.
Yeah.
I remember that it was, like,
the letters
all the
looked like
characters,
characters.
but for some reason Pooh and Tigger were there.
Yeah, they were in there, but there was other stuff like that, like, at the time.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like they were so, like, tightly associated with specifically Disney. Because obviously Winnie the Pooh comes from a book before Disney did
Yeah,
the
something
animation
that
stuff.
Disney bought the rights.
And there was the Russian...
Winnie Pooh.
Winnie Pooh, which I love.
I showed our friend Mara that because we like Russian animation. She's like, have you ever seen Winnie Pooh? And she's like, no, I haven't seen Winnie Pooh. I'm like, we're watching some fucking Winnie Pooh. And I watched all three Winnie Poohs, and we were laughing so hard because he's like, because it's so. And there's a story where they showed Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, and then the Winnie Pooh version of Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree.
Yep.
And they had the directors and the creators of both. They had the director of the Disney one, and they had the guy who created the Russian one.
Mm-hmm.
And after the Russian one finished, the director, Wooly Ryder, leaned over and said, yours is better. Which I think is a great story.
It's really admirable.
Yours is better.
Hey, well.
It's up there with one of my favorite things ever said is there was a bunch of people at Cal Arts, and they were visiting. Ward Kimball, the animator, was visiting. And the first thing he says was, Walt's dead, you missed it. This is at Cal Arts in the 1980s. Walt's dead, you missed it.
Is that a Tom Cito story?
No, that's a pretty famous story that goes around, especially for Cal Arts alum.
You missed it.
You missed it. Walt's
Fuck
dead.
off.
You're going to be making shit.
Well, now that Walt's dead,
and you missed it.
And we missed it, but we talked about a bunch of things that he missed, or he didn't, in a lot of your cases.
I don't think you would have missed Chicken Little.
No. I've never seen it.
I think you should watch it.
No.
I think my favorite part is the part where Zach Braff sings, and you're like, wait a minute. Is that auto-tuned? Oh my god, that's poorly auto-tuned. It's like they put a phone with the T-Pain app next to the microphone and just played it
My
back.
favorite thing about Chicken Little is the fact that he's a summon in Kingdom Hearts.
I remember that.
And they fucking brought Zach Braff in to do like 3 lines of dialogue for that. And I'm like, that's a feat. That is a feat of engineering.
But that's I mean, we should also mention. I think we should mention our least favorite, just off the bat.
Oh, jeez, I have to think about that.
I mean, Chicken Little ranks pretty high.
I've never seen it, so I can't even say that it is.
But actually, that's not my least favorite.
What is it?
Pocahontas is my least favorite.
Really?
It's a beautiful nothing.
I remember Miko and Flit. That's all I remember.
I have to, and again, I don't like. I'm not a fan of Doug Walker and his videos anymore. But he did make a very interesting point where it's like, this is a movie about man communicating with nature. Why the fuck don't the animals talk in this fucking movie?
Yeah.
Like,
that's right. Oh, was that one of the Disney December things?
He did one of those years ago. And I'm like, it's true. Because, I mean, every other movie, they don't really explain it. This movie was a perfect explanation of why they could communicate with animals. But the animals don't fucking talk.
It's like Duck knows things about film or something.
Yeah. It's kind of strange. I'm surprised. No, I'm but anyway, that movie to me, I remember I went to the premiere of that movie when I was a little kid. They premiered it in New York City in Central Park. And my older sister Michelle was like, hey, we're going to take you to see the Disney movie. We're going to be in Central Park. And I was like, oh my God. And we all went, and they had these 4 screens set up in Central Park in this big field.
Oh, was it? It wasn't like it was like an outdoor show?
It was an outdoor thing.
Cool.
So they had 4 screens, and it was like it looked like a cube. And each side was a screen. So you could sit around it and sit and look. And everyone had picnics, and we played Frisbee, and we had food, and those hot dog carts, and we had cotton candy.
Well, so you're biased to have like a cool memory with that, and yet still.
It was amazing. And then the movie starts, and we were looking forward to it all day. And the movie comes on, and I remember sitting there and being so incredibly fucking bored. Wow. And the movie, I tried watching it again a few years ago. The art direction of the movie is so good, and the animation is really good, but.
That was
boring.
Eric Goldberg was like kind of
co-directing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, honestly, people were like, that movie was terrible, and then he even said, like, look, I either had 2 that I could have been a staff animator on Lion King, which meant I would have just done various scenes throughout the movie, and I wouldn't have had any supervising position. I would have just been in there and out of it. Or I can co-direct a movie. Sure. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, true that.
Co-direct a movie, so we co-directed the movie.
That was from the old podcast. What's
Animation podcast.
Yeah. I remember. I thought that was so long ago.
Because I love it whenever Eric Goldberg, when someone asks him a story, he always go, okay. And he always starts with every answer with, okay. And then he'll begin. It's like, as you can tell, he's like, oh, here it comes.
He's so pleasant.
I would love to hear his more candid interviews. They're probably hilarious.
God, what is my least favorite? I remember not liking Black Cauldron when I saw it. I think I've only ever seen it the one time.
No, Henry, no.
I don't even fucking. You're speaking gibberish to me right now. I don't even know. I don't know. Well, I did want to mention the runner-ups. We forgot to.
The runner-ups.
I was going to say that before we did our number 1.
So why don't you name your runner-ups? And we're not going to go into detail about it. We're just going to.
Just some other ones. Princess and the Frog, like I mentioned before, still enjoyed it for what it was. Treasure Planet, fully admit, is ridiculous, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Brother Bear, another one, so probably watch that together with Zito. College.
I like that one. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's a very charming movie.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful movie.
Way better than people give it credit for.
I mean, the major detriment to the movie is the Phil Collins soundtrack. Which I think is
Word's better for Tarzan, which, by the way, Tarzan.
Tars.
I need to rewatch Tarzan at some point. Lion King, obviously. Mulan, definitely. I could still go back and watch that one and really enjoy it. And The Great Mouse Detective.
Great movie.
If anything, and not that it's great, but specifically fucking rad.
Yeah.
Just come on.
Yeah. I'm going to list my runner-ups, and they're very straight. Alice in Wonderland, because I think it's really charming, and I love the characters. Bambi, beautiful, beautiful fucking movie. Even though I ruined it for a whole generation of people.
I ruined it for you.
Well, I ruined it, and then you opened the floodgates. Pinocchio, again, very wonderful movie. Snow White, great movie. And I have a soft spot for the package features from the 40s, like Melody Time and Make My Music.
Fun and fancy free.
Not so much Fun and Fancy Free. I mean, I like
What even is that?
What is Fun and Fancy Free?
Yeah, I still don't really fully get what the fuck it is.
Is it the phrase or the movie?
No, the movie.
It's called. We had two ideas, and they're too short to release by themselves. Let's lump them together into a fucking package feature and have Jiminy Cricket introduce it. Which is what Fun and Fancy Free is. It's just a package feature, but only two ideas.
Hooray.
And then, Lady and the Tramp. I mean, I could go on and on about all the movies.
Oh, yeah, dude. Remember when we watched Lady and the Tramp in last year of college and you blew my mind when you told me that, like, Lady and the Tramp totally banged?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I've ruined that movie for a bunch of people, too. Lady and the Tramp totally had sex after eating spaghetti, which is hard to do because pasta and carbs make you really tired. So it's kind of surprising. Especially dogs shouldn't be eating that stuff. That's not good for their digestion.
No, it's not.
And so they fuck at night, and they wake up the next morning. She gets taken to the pound. They find out that she's been knocked up, and she's brought back to home, and she's put in the doghouse. The other dog, Jacques and Trusty, find out that she was knocked up, and they offer her hand in marriage because she would have had bastard children
and nobody to take care of them.
And nobody take care of them. So
this is legit, by the way. Like, seriously.
Watch the movie again and you'll see what I mean.
If you really do, after it's a beautiful night, like after that number is done. Like,
notice in that sequence when they cut back to him up close up on the hill, Lady's ear is over Tramp. Like they were obviously cuddling.
Yep.
Which is hard to do because for dogs to fuck, they have to be behind each other. What would have made sense if he was laying on top of her?
You were doing a lovely job right now.
This is the night. It's a beautiful night.
It's called fucking
Hare Krishna. No, it's not called Hare Krishna. It's called Karma Sutra, which is the famous sex book.
You disgust me. I'll also mention, you mentioned Snow White. I want to give a special mention to that because there was a time where
you were obsessed with it.
Oh well, I was obsessed with Dopey, and
you were obsessed with Dopey.
I was obsessed with being Dopey.
Yeah.
because I love the dwarves because this really is like my actual like runner-up answer. Is I love the dwarves because they were all different colors and that's all I gave a shit about from ages like 1 to 4 was colors and variants in colors.
I love color.
I like clouds.
I like
rainbows. Rocco! That's disgusting!
Well, that was Sumo. That was Mrs. Bighead. I've been watching Clarence.
Hey, Clarence. Let's lynch you. Clarence, give me $5.
Jesus Christ.
Clarence.
And we'll be back for our top 5 favorite Nicktoons someday. We should do that, actually. I was obsessed with the dwarves and I thought they were cool and like I thought Dopey was funny in that he didn't say a goddamn word, which is ironic because with my obsession with voiceover, my favorite was the one that didn't talk and was just funny and weird.
Aren't you glad they didn't make that new sequel?
What?
The Dopey origin movie.
The origin.
And when they find out that he can't talk because he experienced a traumatic experience.
Oh God! Don't go any further with that.
It was gonna be CG. It looked like crap. This image is online. It looks awful.
Wait, are you like?
I'm not kidding.
Wait, what?
I'm not.
Wait,
kidding.
are you actually?
It's a prequel to Snow White, where how the dwarves met.
Are you actually being serious?
I'm not kidding.
Was this during the era of like when they were doing all this?
Yeah.
Are you being serious? Are you fucking
I'm
with
being
me?
100% cross my heart, poke my ribs, see these lips. They tell no fibs. Don't come over here.
Wait, what?
That's a real thing.
That is seriously.
Yeah.
Fucking no. I'm holding
I'm
to
gonna
this.
get the promo image right
Okay.
now.
Because I swear to God, I'm not gonna end this Kirblog on like leave a comment, blah blah blah. I was fucking with you, Chris. I'm not doing that. You better fucking prove
No,
that shit to
I
me.
swear to God. I swear on the Holy Bible, even though I don't believe it.
But yeah, no, Snow White was the first. You know what? Actually, yeah, that's a perfect thing to mention. Well, it's not in my top 5. I'll put it as the runner-up because Snow White was the first Disney movie that I ever saw. I was totally obsessed with it. I loved all the characters. Really? Are you actually? Is this real?
That's the actual image that they had for the movie.
Like, fucking. Like, really?
Hold on, let me see.
No.
I swear, I'm gonna read it to you right now. Hold on.
I'm looking at it at the same time.
Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna get the actual. Sorry, folks.
No, it's okay. No, this is part of the experience. With me holding you to your fucking. It's not the Huntsman. Movie.
No, it's not the Huntsman.
It's fucking Chris Hemsworth. I'm gonna massage your
No,
shoulders.
don't. I don't like it. Bad touching.
Oh.
bad fucking
Oh,
time.
you're so tense, Mikhail.
Let's see, on 2000s. Working on a computer animated prequel which hoped might capture similar success. Titled simply Dwarves, the movie was set to explain the origin of how the seven dwarves met, as well as showing how the evil queen killed Snow White's father and took to the throne. And originally, yeah, they wanted to show the fact that Dopey couldn't talk was because he experienced a traumatic experience as a child, and it made him so he couldn't talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, at 9:30 p.m. on July 27th, 2016, because this is the night we're recording it. It's a beautiful night. I learned something terrifying about my runner-up Disney movie that got me into Disney.
Oh, there's more. I can tell you more.
Oh?
Well, not about that. I can tell you. Like me and Andrew have been doing every time we go out to lunch and we're driving. Somehow the conversation we always talk like Captain Hook and Smee.
Oh yeah, well, because you do a great Hans Connery.
I do. I mean, not great. I just love.
Well, not Piat great, but pretty
Oh,
great.
Piat's amazing. I'm so happy for him.
Piat Michael, check him out in Final Fantasy Type 0.
Oh, why don't you catch him on Mad TV?
That too.
He's
Yeah, that's right.
the lead on Mad
Yeah.
TV. He's one of the actors.
I'm so proud of him. He went from being a YouTube impressionist guy to now he's in shit.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Get on that shit, Brock
But
Baker.
me
Catch up to him.
Me and Andrew always are like, I'm cat food, Smee. I'm cat food for this guy. Oh, Captain, no.
We take me.
Smee, I wiped with the wrong hand again, Smee. Bring the destiny. Oh, Captain.
Oh, Captain, we the host is going to be
Me
over.
and Andrew want to go to do karaoke and sing like Captain Hook and Smee, where Smee is like, all right, you do the next song, Smee. Okay, off to Neverland. You know, like, you are the wind beneath my Smee.
Oh no, dude! Oh god, if I say this, they're gonna want this forever. But me and Xander Movis, the Smash announcer, was fucking obsessed with the video that somebody did of Goofy singing fucking Evanescence "Wake Me Up," and we wanted to do. We talked about doing a full version of that with him doing Goofy, me doing backup as Mickey, and we wanted to have you do the rap section as Donald.
I can't talk as Donald.
Yes, you can.
I can't.
I've heard you do it.
I could do
Those of you who don't know, Michael was the voice of Totodile in the Nintendo collab because he does a great Donald Duck. I'm just gonna put that rubber band right back on his face.
My friend Pez could do perfect. Like he could speak like Donald. Like he could actually enunciate. Like
Donald.
Like he could say like I'm trying to say hello, how you doing, and I can't do it. Like it's hard to do.
Wow, you sound just like Pez sounding just like Tony and Selma.
Which is Tony. That's I got.
And sounds like a good place to stop this conversation.
I can't talk about it right now.
Oh my god.
Watch DuckTales when it comes out.
Do it.
And you'll be pleasantly surprised, as I'm going to surprise Chris right now after we finish with
Oh, good. I'm gonna hear some juicy Disney gossip out of this. Great.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
Thank you for nothing.
Hey, thanks for joining. This was
This is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love talking about Disney movies.
About Disney. Let's go back to Disney. We should.
I would like to go. I have some friends who are visiting soon, and they're like, "We want to go to Disneyland," and I'm like,
We want to go.
One of my favorite. I got to tell a quick Disney story.
Sure.
I haven't seen Zach in a long time, but one of my favorite.
Zach
stories-
Bellissimo.
Oh man, I miss him and Tara. But like, we went to Disney. We went to
I know
Disneyland,
this story.
and we were walking down Main Street. And me and Zach are huge. We love his favorite Disney movie is Jungle Book. So
That's
we
right.
always talk about Jungle Book. And I don't know how he felt about it, but I'm sure he adored the live action version. I did. I actually really enjoyed it.
I think he liked it. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
But I digress. So we're walking down the street, and he's like, "I haven't had breakfast this morning." We're in the middle of Main Street. He goes to one of the fruit stands on the side of the street, and he gets a banana, like a $12 banana.
Uh-huh.
And he starts eating it. He goes, Mike. And I'm like, "What, Zach?" And he goes, "Oh, Dwayne didn't stay in the jungle." And I literally,
He has the banana in his mouth.
He's chewing the banana like Mowgli is in the fucking movie. I nearly kvetch, and I'm on the floor. I nearly walk headfirst into a fucking horse and buggy coming down the Main Street because he made me laugh so hard. He's like, "Oh, Dwayne didn't stay in the jungle," and I'm like, "You're a fucking holy shit!" I nearly died in Disneyland. Man laughed hard. Man dies by being trampled by a horse by laughing from a guy saying a line, eating a banana. It's like, you ever hear the stories? I mean, I hear stories about how people have actually died laughing. there was a famous philosopher who died because he was watching a donkey eating figs, and he thought it was the funniest fucking thing that he died laughing because he died of asphyxiation laughing at a
Oh my
donkey
God.
eating figs. That would have been my donkey eating figs moment. Zach eating a banana and me walking in front of a horse.
Oh, God.
I would have died the same way someone did back in like 1487 or like back
The way you were meant to die, Matt, let's be honest.
under the hooves of a Clydesdale horse. Anyway, that's my
Under a clopper.
under a clock.
On that beautiful note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening.
Hope you
We're gonna
enjoyed
wrap
our
this shit
talk
up.
about the Land Before Time prequels and went through this. For
All
those that came in an hour and 39 minutes.
yeah, dude.
Well, it's gonna be.
We didn't break no records. I was actually kind of thinking we might have broken the 2-hour record. That's the longest I've ever done a Kirblog for, but
Wow. Well, I'm glad that we didn't.
oh. I was gonna say we can sit around and talk about our feelings.
Look, there's a man stealing that old man's diamonds.
Hey, come back here with my Disney movies.
Go back with my diamonds.
Hey.
Hey.
No. In the comments below, tell us your top, however many you feel. You don't have to limit to top 5. I don't give a shit. Tell us about your favorite Disney movies in general. You can list them. You can just talk about them more in depth. Whatever.
Whether or not we read them, that's up to your.
Well, I'll probably
imagination.
read them. You don't have to. You don't have to give a fuck.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I don't even give a fuck about what you're
I
talking
honestly do
right
care
now.
how people feel about certain movies.
Well, then go in the comment section and ogle. You fucking.
Ew, ogle sounds gross.
Fucking mouse.
You pinheaded prick in a hat. You baby gorilla.
Oh my god.
That was like a dumb.
We gotta give this like an NC-17 rating on this podcast.
About baby gorillas and
Gorillas.
We're talking about Blade the Tramp fucking and the gorilla.
The gorilla. If you got that one, you get a brownie point. One whole brownie point for me. Leave us a comment about the Disney shit that you like. Just do it. And if you have future Kirblog topics, perhaps Disney related or otherwise, because
Send me an email to my web zone if you want a pizza.
go to my MySpace page. Because Disney is one of those things that, like, I mean, Doug already did it, but it's like you could make a fucking like month of Kirblog topics out of that, or you could.
Yeah, could you make sure to send me a link to my Friendster.
Friendster. Okay.
Could someone go to my GeoCities site and upload?
Upload all my Angel Fire hosted images.
I'll show you the original Space Jam website.
I'm stopping this fucking
All right.
train wreck now.
Goodbye,
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Mwah!
How do you pause this?
The yellow square, Michael.
Oh, you do that with that one?
Fucking get.
You not pause?
No.
Even though, because I'm afraid if I
Oh my
won't
God.
delete. What's that?
This
No,
is the
that
end.
one.
This is the end of your life.
Oh.